Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Coming up tonight on Our News Weekend Edition, the Bahamas will miss the international vaccine goal of 70% coverage by mid-2022. To Sir with love from Zaymar. And is a 30% renewable energy pledge realistic? Welcome to Our News Weekend Edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Megan Shepard. Topping news tonight, the Bahamas will miss the international vaccine goal of 70% coverage in all countries by mid-2022. This latest news confirmed by stats from the World Health Organization that show the Bahamas and the rest of the Caribbean will not meet the target. Candino Knowles, who is following this, joins us now with more on the progress. Candino?
Megan, as you said, those countries on track to miss the vaccine goal include the Bahamas and most of the Caribbean, but also included on that list compiled by the Our World in Data organization is the United States, Africa, Russia, Mexico, many parts of the Middle East, including Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria, and others, too many to name, to make up that 122 that will not meet the goal. Cuba is actually the only country from this region on that list that is said to have already met and surpassed the target of 70% vaccine coverage. Now, researchers are said to have compiled that list after looking at current coverage and the rate of new vaccinations over the past 14 days. Back in October 2021, the World Health Organization's independent allocation of vaccines group outlined its strategy to achieve global vaccination by mid-2022. The group was calling for an internationally coordinated rollout to reach 10% coverage by the end of last September, 40% by the end of the following December, and ultimately 70% in all countries halfway through 2022. But Statista.com, which has produced a full report on this, points out that by late December, IAVG was sounding the alarm, saying that 98 countries were about to miss that 40% target, citing the main reason for the shortfall as the severe vaccine supply constraints to COVAX. Now, that's the worldwide initiative aimed at equitable access to vaccine. The Bahamas has also benefited from that facility. And that aside, researchers say 34 countries are actually on track to meet that target. The countries included on that list that are highlighted in this slide include Colombia, India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, Switzerland, and others. Meanwhile, most high-income countries are said to have already surpassed the 70% milestone, and those include Canada, the United Kingdom, China, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, and others. Now, to date, over 150,000 Bahamians and residents have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The Ministry of Health and Wellness said in a statement this weekend that the Social Mobilization Unit will set out for a third weekend on walkabouts in key communities to offer on-the-spot vaccinations and educational resources. Those walkabouts taking place in Bainstown and Yellow Elder Gardens from 4 p.m. yesterday and Saturday morning. The ministry noting those walkabouts are expected to be followed by educational sessions and vaccination services, with a mobile unit offering walk-up service to supplement the effort. The Davis administration has previously said that this social mobilization program is part of its plan to reduce the spread of COVID-19. And Megan, we will certainly continue to watch these efforts despite the fact that the Bahamas and 121 others remain on that list of places projected to miss this year's goal.
Thank you so much, Candino. While in other news, detectives are tonight investigating another homicide after police officers say they found the lifeless body of a man who were appeared to have been in his early 20s outside a residence on Cowpen Road around 1 o'clock Saturday morning. Assistant Superintendent Audley Peters told reporters on the scene that circumstances surrounding this incident are still unclear, while appealing to the public for any information that could help them.
Police received information that a male was found unresponsive. Officers responded, and on their arrival, they met a male lying on the ground in front of a residence with what appeared to be a single gunshot wound to his upper torso. Emergency medical services visited the scene and pronounced this male lifeless. The details are sketchy at this time. However, The initial reports are that a resident came out on the outside and discovered this male with this wound. We're appealing to members of this community who may have any information to assist the police to contact us at 502-999-142. And again, I appeal to friends, to family, to loved ones who know of their relatives or their friends being in possession of firearms to contact the police. I'm certain the culprit in this instance would have been known to someone, and if that person was courageous to report that matter to the police, this incident might not have happened tonight.
In the week since the death of Sir Sidney Poitier, tributes have come from world leaders, actors, and activists. Bahamians are honoring him in many different ways. More notably, a photo memorial at the site named in his honor. Jerome Sawyer has that.
Mrs. Coburn, can you tell me about your husband's enemies?
His on-screen appearances are legendary, and his death reminded us and the world just how talented of an actor Sir Sidney Poitier really was. His accomplishments and reminders of just how influential he was are now immortalized in a photo and video tribute in the gardens of the bridge named after him.
What I would hope is that, driving through here, going over the bridge, looking at everything, looking at all of the video clips, it would cause them to want to dig deeper into his life, do some research.
Zamar's executive director, Andrew Gardner, led the team to erect this memorial. He, along with creative director Kazumu Ellis, captured Sir Sidney's life in 18 photos, 27 pole banners, and an LED wall.
What you have here is basically a journey throughout his life. Everything is strategically placed, whereas, in driving past, you're not overstimulated, but everything's placed whereas you can get a full eye view of each one of the photos.
The images selected are to convey a very specific message.
A lot of it was done basically so tourists and the likes, foreigners who come here can associate Sir Sidney with prominence.
The hope is we begin to immortalize more great Bahamians.
I guess you could almost call them historians to a certain degree, who would look into the lives of people who have made significant contributions to our nation, and who, whether it's locally or abroad, and spend time and let's come up with ways that we can honor our people.
Whether you are a die-hard Sir Sidney fan or just interested in learning more about him, this exhibit is pretty interactive and gives you lots of opportunities to learn more about him. Now, there are opportunities to pose with Oprah, or you may want to just take a selfie with a former Prime Minister, or my personal favorite, Sir Sidney and the Obamas. Reporting for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
As the new Davis administration gets settled, a local environmentalist is weighing in on the government's pledge to recommit the Bahamas to a minimum reliance on renewable energy of 30% by 2030. Former chair of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Energy and Environmental Division, Deborah Deal, says the country is far from that target.
Considering the fact that they want to be 30% by 2030, the last time I researched it, we were at 4%. Yeah. Now, I did hear a report probably the fall of last year where someone said we were at like between 9 and 14. I do not see that. I do not see that, because basically what that means is 30% of what BPL produces a year, power, is what we would actually have to do in alternative energy.
Despite her doubts, Deal says she is encouraged by the country's participation in the United Nations Climate Change Summit held in Scotland last year, as well as the appointment of climate change experts in the office of the Prime Minister.
He was great. I watched every time he spoke. And he had a great number of people with him that from the the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection. He had the director, Rochelle Newbold, and Charles Hamilton, who are now both at the Climate Change Division in the Prime Minister's office. He also had Adele Thomas there. They were speaking, and she's with UB, and he had a great team, and they presented themselves well.
Still to come on our news, the Arts Commission is on a mission. That's coming up when we return.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back. You're watching Our News Weekend Edition. The newly established Art and Culture Commission is on a mission to stimulate the public's interest in the creative and performing arts. Our Cale Campbell reports.
The Bahamas is on the brink of losing its cultural identity, according to Caroline Vogt-Smith, who chairs the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's newly established Art and Culture Commission.
Because we cannot be stopped or delayed because of this disease, while our country is falling apart and we are losing who we are as a nation. We are being dominated by others. While we might appreciate them, this commission is about Bahamianization, which is the ultimate goal, Bahamian or nothing.
A number of ambitious targets and goals were outlined in the Commission's first meeting, including more Bahamian productions, the export of Bahamian-made products, and real opportunities for Bahamian artisans to achieve success in the local industry.
Because I believe that some artisans can make a career of their talent as opposed to having to live in foreign countries because there's no opportunities to work in the Bahamas. And we envision the return of many of our sons and daughters of the soil to contribute to the building of our nation culturally because the opportunity has now arisen.
Vogt Evans is pushing for better facilities for the arts and culture industry in the Bahamas, but she acknowledged it cannot be done without a collaborative effort between the private and public sectors.
It is time for us to put up or shut up. We must come together at one, put aside our differences, and work together to save our country. Because a country who do not know who they are will perish. The Commission will conduct its business with integrity, accountability, transparency. Decisions will be based on consensus.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Cale Campbell.
When Our News comes back from the break, a lady cop seeks to inspire others. And even after 10 years, KB2 continues to motivate others. We have those details when Our News returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is Our News Weekend Edition. Welcome back. Just as her predecessors have inspired her, the only female motorcycle officer on the Royal Bahamas Police Force is hoping to serve as a source of inspiration for other young women who may aspire to follow in her footsteps and take on roles not often filled by women. Jasmine Brown has her inspiring story.
Corporal Brittany Roll is on a roll. She is currently the only female motorcycle officer stationed at the Royal Bahamas Police Force's Traffic Division, and it's a job she adores.
I love traffic. I love what I do. I love meeting new people and also enforcing traffic laws. Yes, I do get a lot of stares. I get a lot of compliments as well, even from women, males. They are also fascinated and intrigued about, wow, this is a female riding a bike, and in terms they say, oh, she manhandling her bike.
Roll, who has been on the force for 5 years, was transferred to traffic 7 months ago after applying for that transfer. It was a career dream come true.
Honestly, I always was fascinated with motorbikes from a child, and after I joined the force, that was one of the main reasons I joined.
Roll is not the only woman to have ever served as a motorcycle cop. Other women have previously filled the post, but she says she knows she has some pretty big shoes to fill.
Our standards are poor for females because, you know, as females being in a male-dominant industry, we get taken lightly, but I have to show the males just how they striving to get things done. Females can do just as the same thing.
Roll says her family plays a major part of inspiring her every day, and she hopes to be an inspiration to others.
Whatever you have your mind set out to be, no matter how long it takes, don't get discouraged and continue to pursue your goals.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
29-year-old Catherine Beneby II has been making her voice heard loud and clear for a decade now, as her company, KB2 Communications, is celebrating 10 years since its inception.
I cater to individuals and groups, and so I speak, train. My key focus areas are leadership development, purpose, stretching yourself and coming out of your comfort zone. They are the key reasons why people come to me. If you want to move and go to the next level and you need that accountability, I'm the person to help you get there, because I believe that it's more than just talk. You have to create the framework and the action plans to be able to achieve the goals that you want. And so people come to me to give them that motivation, but also to walk with them to help them achieve the goals that they've set.
Beneby studied mass communications at the University of the Bahamas and is now a certified speaker, trainer, and coach. She says after 10 years in the business, her continued desire to be better keeps her motivated. However, during her early years as a speaker, she says she did face challenges related to her age.
A more mature adult came to me and said, you know, I was taking the first 20 minutes just trying to figure out your age. And after she got past that and she was able to really listen to what I was saying, she was blown away. And so for me, I don't worry about it. I think about the assignment and the call that I have on my life, and I do what I came to do. But in the beginning, that was some work that I had to do internally to make sure that I didn't dim my light because somebody was concerned about my age.
And to other young people who may feel they cannot make a difference or significant contribution to their field because of their age, she says it's important to learn how to quiet those thoughts.
It's not that you won't have those thoughts that, you know, what are people gonna say? How are people gonna respond? They will come, but you have to speak to those thoughts and say, hey, you know what? I know that I have this call. I know I have a message. And you do that. Don't worry about all those other reasons why you think that you can't do it. Think about what you can do.
And as residents continue to navigate day-to-day life and all of the challenges that come with it, Beneby shares this word of motivation and encouragement.
If you're listening to this and you feel like there's no hope or there's nothing more that you can do, I want you to know that there is more. There's always more. And so I want to challenge you to walk into that more this year and truly be and live the call that God has for all of our lives.
Julian Believe has just the right wine for Valentine's Day. That's coming up when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back. There are just 2 days to go until Valentine's Day, and all stops are being pulled to get the right gift. Our Tanya Smith Cartwright is at City Market with Julian Believe getting the right vino for the big day.
Thanks, Megan. I am out here at City Market with Julian Believe. You remember him? Anyway, we're talking wines today. Julian, I have not seen you on the scene for quite some time. Tell me what you've been up to.
Over the last year, probably since the whole pandemic started, we really just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of build a brand of the wine line. Just wanted to diversify a bit, but still tied into entertainment. So step by step, day by day, bottle by bottle, my team and I, we've been promoting our wine line and getting it popular and getting Bahamians, just accustomed to the brand.
Right, good stuff. So tell me about them. What different type wines are there?
So a lot of persons locally have different palates, and I find most Bahamians have a sweet palate, but then quite a bit of us have a dry palate. So what you would see here to your left would be a house white or a house red. A lot of persons love these, okay? Some like these for cooking purposes, some like them to soak their meat. Others love the dessert wines, which is our sweet peach and our sweet red. A lot of Bahamians call this one the sea grape red because, got a little taste of the sea grape in it, But,
you mentioned Valentine's Day, which is just 2 days away. So where can we get besides Super Value and City Market where we at now? Where can they find these wines?
Okay, we're also stationed at Bamboo Shot locations and all your favorite neighborhood liquor stores. You can also go and try us out, or you can send us a message on social media. Now let me tell you, we got a crazy Valentine's package. Once you buy 1 case of our wine, which is 6 bottles, you can go ahead and enter a drawing for dinner at Great Cliff restaurant, or if you buy 2 cases, which can be 2 cases of either flavor, you enter for a drawing to have a weekend stay at Great Cliff hotel and restaurant.
Oh my gosh, this sounds totally fabulous, and we're gonna end right there. But before we go, Julian, tell us what video is coming up next.
So because it's Valentine's Day, I had to introduce to you guys Junkanu Love Story, which is my new song right now. It's a video that we shot in Exuma, and I hope everybody loves it. Happy Valentine's Day, Happy New Year to those, and keep on believing and drinking our wine.
If I could choose one person for this ride, I know that you would always hang on tight. If I can find my way, you'll be the light. And that's why I need to ask you tonight.
And thank you so much for joining us tonight on Our News Weekend Edition. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. Have a wonderful weekend filled with love.